All right. Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to mentfx. So in yesterday's video, I actually went over an EVC blueprint, the EVC setups that I would personally follow if I was following gold on the 1 minute. And this is the actual test that you got to see firsthand with me walking you through my actual actions if I was someone that wanted to watch the markets for 8 to 10 hours a day, and how I would go about trading. And as you all know, we actually ended the overall video. So this is this video right here, which is already available, and it's the one right before this one. So make sure you've seen it because we're gonna go right into the one today. We ended up with about 8 RR on the day, and it was a beautiful, beautiful market. And funny enough, where we ended, which was a live price, if you can see here, it became live where it was here, there was nothing to take, there was no opportunity, and I basically said you would now wait for the same thing, for the context, the validation, and the entry time frame to line up, so you can begin to take new trades in the event that the trend's going to maintain itself. And at the moment, today, as I'm in front of you, the mentfx screener for gold specifically is showing the same context in the overall story that it's been showing. There's overall bullishness, it's moving bullish, and as a result, if you approach this market at this point here and you had waited for London to start, same thing again. So this is like PMs, so we wait. Okay, cool. And then a big move comes in. Again, you would start the same way. You would start with the 60-minute, and you would find your overall context. Now again, as I showed you guys yesterday, price began to kind of move out of this, as you can see exactly that line that I drew for you guys yesterday. So this is again a second parter to the video I just released, and started making a potential stage 2. So this is again a stage 1 where price moves sideways, and a 2 is starting, where again we anticipate and we understand that it's likely to deliver to new highs and keep moving bullish, because overall everything is starting to line up for bullishness, okay? So everything's there. We can go to the 6-minute and simply wait for what we normally wait for, which is price is momentously moving, creating clear accumulation, so we can move down lower to find an actual entry through the buy stop of a move. At the moment, I see nothing, so I would simply wait, and then all of a sudden you can see it's actually starting to do it right now. It starts to shape up along the bottom and starts to put in this little tight range. Exactly what you want to see. So at this point, a 1 minute should begin to make a setup. And funny enough, as we look at this, it's making a setup through this MB right here, right now. So we can buy stop that as is. We'll actually take it at entry price because I just want to be fair with you guys. Throw the stop below the low and simply wait for overall bullishness to come in if we can move to break even. And once again, similarly to the previous video and similarly to the way that we do it over and over and over again, bullishness comes in, stop loss gets moved to break even, and we begin to manage this with the overall, hopefully, strength on the higher time frame. So about 1, 2, 3, not enough strength yet, so we can give it a chance. Doesn't move, looks like it's going to be a break even, pauses, not a break even, actually continues to sail this thing higher, puts in another range, and this was another opportunity. However, we're in one now, so there's not much to do. So you have another one, maybe next candle or the candle after, it should put in a good moment for us to break even. So we'll see if we get some strength. Otherwise, there's not much really to do here. We just wait, and we look for some strength to come in, and beautiful strength enters. So we get to take 50% off at about 5.7. So 5.7 over 2 puts us at plus 2.85. Our R on the day given this actual move, and the rest gets trailed with the 10, and we just wait. And it looks like it would stop you out right there. So we stop out of the rest of the position right there at around 2.78, which puts us, oh, we got a lot, 2.78 over 2, which puts us as plus 1.39. And again, we move to the same variables we did before. We know we're coming out of that longer term, the contextual time frame, stage 1. We're starting a stage 2, so we know the 6 minute should, if it's going to make a setup, start to serve higher along these MAs and create a setup that's worth taking on a lower time frame, because that's how markets operate. So we wait. Price begins to, as you can see, surf just above this 50, just below the rising 20, and starts to put in a tight little range here. I'd probably give it a little bit more time. It's kind of hard for me to trade stuff like this, but we can look at it on a 1 minute to decipher if it's worth actually getting involved. So this is one of those moments where I'm going to wait for it to hopefully make an MB, and then we can look to buy stop it, and that's it. So it goes without us. It actually makes a little pullback here. We can take a look at it again on the 6 minute to make sure it's actually looking clean. You know, this is a harder one to buy because of the way it's moving, so I just wait. Yep, so perfectly fine. You can see it continues to put in that action. It continues kind of going sideways here. So now it's building up a potential for a move. We can look at it on the 1 minute just to keep track of where we are. Don't really see a way to enter this yet, so we just have to wait. Looks like it's failing down, so we'll go back to the 6 and we'll continue waiting. You can see we're now on the rising 50, no longer building higher, no longer building accumulation into the market, so we just wait. You know, if I miss the move, that's okay, because new moves will tend to come out of them. So again, I missed this entire thing, but that's all right, because we're not here to just trade everything and anything. We're here to trade specifically good opportunities that begin the setup in the market. And you can see we start getting another beautiful stage one across the top here, and price just kind of falls off. Doesn't really create anything clear, but structurally we are creating very nice moves. So if we can start to put in an MB here just like that, we should see an opportunity for an entry through the high, protect some of the low. So this is a little bit loose for me. It's very big. So I'm going to ignore that and wait for it to hopefully make a more tighter bit of action just like this, right? Where there's going to be a high that we can buy stop, where buy stopping is going to lead to an actual stop that makes a lot of sense, right? So now if we enter this, the stop could go somewhere in here. Again, I'm just going to move these back to EMAs because I'm used to the stop in terms of how the market's going to look with EMAs. So if we take a look at this, beautiful. Yeah. So around here, it should make sense for a stop if we are to tap in. Let's take a look at what we got. Again, now we're building up an even better range so we can buy stop that high. See if we can get tapped in. Price plays around and we get buy stopped in. So now, very simply, we look for overall strength to move ourselves to break even over and over again. Strength comes in, but not clearly enough. We're going to give it a chance to still go because right now it's not really going. So we'll give it a moment to just prove itself, and there we go. Out of the proof comes a beautiful reason to break even. And again, this is following the price action of yesterday in regards to the exact same steps that I outlined to you guys in the last video. So these two videos act as their own trading plans for a lot of you that are not ready to like join up with a team or use the software that we have. And again, when you join up, you just gain access to stuff that makes what you're already doing, the things that are already profitable for you, makes them a lot easier. That's the goal after all, okay? So go back to the 6 and we'll look to manage this, right? So you have about 1, 2, maybe a third candle should be a good break even. Yep, beautiful. If this ends up, then we can break even. It doesn't, so we'll just leave it at break even. We'll wait to see if we get some more strength, and we do. Beautiful strength. This is about, you know, you have 2 candles up. This is like the third big candle. So at that point, I'm happy to partial half of the money off. About 3.67, same rules as you guys saw in the yesterday's video, plus 1.83. Again, if you're a 1-minute trader, these are the kind of markets you want to be stalking and watching for. Now you wait for the 10 rule. The 10 rule gets closed right there, right under that candle's low at about 3.05, which puts you at around plus 1.5. And once again, you put yourself in a scenario where all you're waiting for is the same kind of clear stage 1 move. So price begins to kind of surf higher. I missed this little guy here. It's a little bit hard to see, so I'll skip him. That's okay. Now we're starting to tighten up. So you can see we're starting to rise this. We're tightening up across the top, and the 1 minute should begin to put in clear action if we are to see an actual trade. And funny enough, it's putting in an action right here, stop, protect, and look for that strength to come in. Strength comes in, but not in... All right. Well, this is going to be a great video. It's just going to look like I've literally pre-watched everything, but that is what it is. Go back to the 6, wait for the normal rules, about 1, 2, look for a third strength candle. Not enough, we'll wait for one more. Beautiful. Oh, not enough strength. We'll again wait for another one. If it wants to fail, it can. There we go. And we can partial 50% at around 4.8, which puts us at a 2.4 hour gain. So again, why is each setup acting profitably? Why is each setup working well? Well, because we're following a market that's been in a beautiful context, and a beautiful validation, and a beautiful entry. Sometimes those same moments will produce losses. Sometimes those moments will produce break evens. In this case, none of them did. And sometimes when the price is right, when you get the trade right, you make money. And funny enough, you know, I'm just gonna go over some of the stuff we saw today. You can have a read of some of this stuff. You know, people are loving the new course. Yeah, just basic supply demand. But, you know, here's someone on gold. You know, they traded this and they're taking it higher. It only took 1 trade. Here's someone else on gold, you know, watching the exact video from yesterday and followed the exact move. In this case, made 6RR out of it. Beautiful. Here's another one mentioning what I say. Sometimes it just goes. Absolutely beautiful trade. Nothing wrong with this, and took it higher through this MB buy stop. Nothing new, nothing different. Just a cycle of the exact same thing happening over and over again. Here's another gold trade from someone. Here's another gold trade from someone. Here's another multiple gold trades from someone, because again, this is someone that understands that if you're trading a lower time frame, you can watch for a given trending market to set up multiple times during a given market session, or given or if you're a lower time frame, you're going to get multiple setups. No shit, right? So again, you can see this kind of from today. It just goes. This is US 30 actually, not gold, so we'll skip that. Here's another trader on gold. Another trader on gold, 6.5 hours secured. Another one on gold, you know, beautiful. Another one on gold, absolutely beautiful. Another one, actually on Bitcoin here, not gold, so we'll ignore that one for now. another one on gold, another one on gold. You get the gist, right? And it's just following simple rules. So now we let the rest run with the actual 10 rule, see what it wants to do. So we just wait. At this point, I would be back on the SMAs, of course, because I use those better for trailing. So we'll see what price wants to do. Looks like it gets close and closes below. Beautiful. So we close the rest at 3.77, which is, of course, 1.88 RR gain. There we go. All right, my dog, I believe, needs to be picked up, so I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. I apologize. Well, actually, you guys didn't experience anything because I wasn't gone for that long. But as you know, we were following simple rules, the EVC rules, to continue to get involved the same way you saw me do in this video, the same way you're seeing today. And the reason that we're seeing another day of beautiful delivery, and the reason I actually chose to make this video, is because one of the things I saw was that close to, I kind of showed you guys this, a lot of the members were catching these things, getting funded on them, making money on them over and over again. And because I personally don't trade a lower time frame, I wanted to show how simple it would be for me in the scenario of a good delivering market to drop into an EVC of any time frame, in this case being a 1 minute time frame entry, and follow the same rules, because I just do the same thing on a higher time frame. But I wanted to show firsthand how if you've done the work prior and you've worked out what kind of scenarios you want to get involved in, you wait for them to occur, you're going to make money, okay? So again, in this scenario here, hopefully we take some break evens or losses, because usually I don't expect the results that are this good, right? Like sometimes I'll get normal break evens, normal losses, kind of more so along these lines. But this is great. This is what happens when you're part of a trend. So again, we'd wait for the same thing. You'd look for, again, the hourly is still coming out of an overall stage 1, starting at stage 2 here, still in that stage 2, and very likely can keep making that move. So in the scenario that we can get another setup like these, we would be happy to take another trade. Okay, so we're starting to see it sail a little bit. Hopefully it starts going sideways here, which it is doing right now. And you can see again, similarly, it's sailing higher. It's kind of putting in a tight little range across the top. So we can take a look at the minute to see if there's a clear little price here. Now, when I go to the minute, I'm doing this very quickly, but what I'm looking for is for the same things, I'm looking for patterns in structure, right? So I'm looking for overall structure that is moving in such a way that is in line with what is taught in the mentorship. So where a new higher low is forming in relation to the prior structure. So just to show you guys another example, again, this is directly from the mentorship. And you guys can join to learn about it, or you can just watch these videos because I cover a lot of it, but I go into a lot more depth in the mentorship, but it's basically this understanding here. So here's actually a trade that I personally traded, right? And if you notice, actually here's Bitcoin, right? I traded this trade right here. It's a beautiful one. But if you notice the entry, right, it's based on the same thing over and over and over again. In this scenario here, if I can get my tools out, maybe I can reload this. Here we go. In this scenario right here, if we load this up, cool. In the scenario of what I traded right here, you see the exact same thing. You have a structural delivery that's occurring. This is the overall black. Inside of it, you have a red or a green. So again, these are multiple structures existing on one time frame because that's how structure actually delivers. Structure, unlike a lot of people teach you to think, does not tend to deliver like this. A lot of people think that structure delivers like this. This is complete nonsense. Very rarely does it do something like this. And as a result, when people think this, they actually look to get involved here and here and here and here and here and here over and over again off of quick breakdowns and quick little imbalance fills and perfect retracements, but that's not how price moves. Oftentimes, if you've studied any market, a structural delivery tends to do something like this from any low. It starts, it might make a move back down, it might make a higher high, and by this point, often, it does something along these lines, right? And then it gets maybe a little bit wonky, and then it just continues that given move. So this is oftentimes what happens. And the problem is people don't understand how to properly anticipate and produce opportunities that get them involved here so they can actually hold out a given trend. Instead, they start to then force the opposite side of the market, They start to force random areas, because they start to see breakdowns. They start to see this as break of structures or whatever, and they start trying to follow it short, even though the market's telling them a certain story, which is why anytime we start trading, the first thing that we should do is we should understand what is the underlying context of that market, which is why I started with this, right? There's an overall bullish context on this, and it has been for a while, including today, and including as a reason why you see the profitable trades that have been taken all to one direction. We're not sitting here trying to snipe highs and lows back and forth and back and forth. We're simply following trends, and when we get involved in trends, we open ourselves to the possibility of a trend delivering big time. And that's where we make a lot of our money. Okay, so that's all I'm doing here when I'm looking at these 1 minute time frames. So I do it quickly in this video, but I'm going through them and I'm watching for, again, structural delivery happening with the anticipation rule. So a lot of you in the mentorship know what the anticipation of the higher low rule is. New deliveries of structure within, so this would be like the red structure, new leg being created, comes down. Again, the anticipation, this would be like a green structure getting taken out. And then you have the setups of validations and validations of MBs. And that's exactly what you saw me buy stop here for this exact scenario right here. Now, again, you're seeing the same thing, right? You have overall structure. That structure is creating the anticipation of the higher low rule, potential anticipation of the higher low rule down here, right? At the same time, you're starting to create little validations of MBs, and now you're creating another one right now. So this becomes an opportunity for an entry, given that we can actually set this up ASAP. So again, this is where I would take out my EMAs, right? Because again, I'm used to looking at price on an entry time frame from the EMA perspective. So this should set up if it wants to right now, or it'll come down and then make a setup a little bit later. Okay, cool. So it does make the setup. And again, you look for strength, okay? So you wait and you get a nice -1. So finally we got to experience this. That's when you step back up, and again, you continue to watch for the same thing. You don't get affected by the fact that you take a loss. You don't get affected by it in any way, because the reality is you're gonna make money if you follow proper rules over and over and over again, okay? So price kind of, plays around, it starts to come up. I don't really see a tight range by which it would make sense to look yet, so I'll wait. And now, as you can see, we're starting to put in some tightness, right? We're now starting to sail kind of above the rising 10 and 20. I'm not going to put I'm not going to get the SMAs out again, but you can almost see it, and their setup was clean. And now it's again creating that same thing. So on the 1 minute, we should start to see the same thing occur, where there's going to be a clean move by which we can buy stop, like a high here at the moment, and take it higher. Hopefully this actually comes up and pauses again, because that would then create an even better entry. Let's see if we can get that. Beautiful. All right, so again, I'm used to seeing this with price. So again, that's why I can predict how it might move, but this is what you want to see. Now this looks really good. If we can validate, we don't, we fail down, so no entry, and we go back to our 6 minute to continue watching for validity of an actual trade. Because if the trade's gonna be valid, it's gonna start to, again, surf higher and create a very nice move. So we'll give it some time, and you can see it's actually doing it right now. It's kind of surfing higher along the 50, which would be very clean on the SMA level. And it's putting in kind of this range right here. Again, it's not perfect, and it doesn't have to be, because there's an understanding behind what's going on. And the 1 minute now should again become clear for an actual setup. Now, this is an MB, but usually these are harder for me to spot. So yes, this might work right here, but I'm gonna skip it. Instead, I'm gonna allow the price to hopefully come up over the MAs here, pause, and then create a setup around here. That would be the best thing for me to see, okay? So this is actually really clean, right? We come up, we start to validate a little bit, we now are just on the 50, and we create a high. This is a high I'm happy to buy stop. So again, there are gonna be mini refinement moments that you make over your time and your experience, because you're gonna start to get used to what you wanna see. Now you can see that if you buy stop this, the trade would still be working, okay? So either way it would have worked, but there's minor details like that that could save you money in the long run, which is why you get better and better and you study yourself as a trader. So again, I'm looking for strength now. Not enough yet, we just wait. And beautiful strength comes in, actually fails back down. So if this had followed through to the top, or even the next candle followed through it, I would move to break even. Right now, there's still a very easy chance we pause and then go. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait just for strength to come in. Yeah, phenomenal. Again, as you do this more and more, you get used to how prices want to deliver for when you actually take an entry. And again, as we're looking at this is like the first candle, so we'll wait another. Again, huge strength. If it ends up here, we can take a partial. This looks very good, right? So you have this 1 that kind of failed back down, then 2, 3. So about 3 candles as per the last rule. And that's around 3.76. So we'll take a partial at 3.76 for our 1.88 plus 1.88. And again, notice like our partial on this trade has paid for 2 future losses, or for 2 future losses plus break evens. That's the beautiful thing about proper trend following and getting involved with the trend, that it's just the fact that over time, you're gonna make money no matter what, right? And then of course, sometimes you'll get failures, that's fine. That's just plus 1.88. And again, you go back to the drawing board, right? As this fails big time, you may even take a look at a 60 minute to go back to your context and take a look at what's happening, right? Contextually, we're moving out of this, we're going sideways again. So really, if price can start to shape up again, just like that, the 6 minute should become clear, right? And all of a sudden, we skipped a lot of this action, price started coming up again. And if we can start to see some sideways action, now I'm gonna put my SMAs back on, then we should see price start to surf higher and create a very nice move. Let's see if we can get that. So price comes down, you can see it starts to surf a little bit, starts to put in this tight little range across the top, right? It's not perfect yet. Actually, I mean, it's getting pretty good. So the 1 minute might be setting up. We'll take a look at it to see what's going on. But 1 minute wise, structurally, you're moving beautifully. It comes down, comes up. So right now, if we can pause, there should be a nice buy stop to take. Yeah, phenomenal, right? Buy stop, throw the stop under the EMAs and take it higher. And we can actually throw the EMAs back on because we know the SMAs look clear now on the higher. So we'll take a look at what this looks like. Yeah, this looks really good. If anything, there would even be an argument to wait a little bit more for another high and then buy stop that one. So I would be willing to take 2 losses here if it taps me in and takes me out. So this might set up another trade, we'll see. No, it looks like we're just gonna get a move. Okay, and there we go. We have overall strength come in, price can be moved to break even. Once again, management keeping you and saving you money in the case that it comes back. We'll look to the 6 minute now and we'll follow it. So you have about 1, 2, we'll look for a third candle to make some kind of move. This is around 3 and it ends up nicely. Let's see if it's over 2RR. It is about 2.39. So 2.39 over 2, 1.19. So plus 1.19. And the rest we again manage with our simple rule. So we'll see what I want. Well, I can see why a lot of the people today in the mentorship made a lot of money on this thing. But yeah, this is it. You wait for the rule now. Beautiful. You close at the 10. Or right below it. Either one is perfectly valid. I would probably just close there. That's 7.2. 7.2 over 2 is 3.6. So we'll record that plus 3.6. And again, you go back to square one, right? We're still in those stage 1s and 2s on the higher time frame. Now you want to wait for this thing to set up. And if it does, then there's going to be an opportunity for a setup. Going to move back to the SMAs very quick. And once again, we look for a surf, some sideways, just like again, this is perfection, right? A surf and some sideways. I don't really see a clear point just yet, so we have to wait a little bit. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Now on the 1 minute, this should start to set up as a very nice trade. We have the structural move there. Structural move is happening beautifully. MB is setting up over that high. And you can see how together, when you actually use EVC properly, everything just lines up in regards to like the setups that are going to be available to you, right? This is just, it's a lineup perfectly of what you want to see. See, we get tapped in. Again, we just protect a little bit here. Keeps making an MB here. You know, it's still clean. No reason we can't take this. There we are. Yep, we get tapped in. Look for some strength. I look for one more candle here before I move to break even. Yep, just like that. Now we can move to break even. Again, like quick break evens, simple management. If the move wants to come, it's gonna come. And if it does come, then you can manage accordingly, right? Look for the big move. Again, this kind of counts as one candle. There's not really a big strength that came in, so I'll give it a chance to make some big strength because there's nothing for me to do here. I don't really care about letting a trade like this come to a loss because, again, nothing has really happened yet, right? I'd give it a chance to make a big move if it wants to. Oh, and we're live price. So again, throughout the day, you would have simply managed multiple trades. You would have taken a few losses, actually one loss, this potential break even. You would now wait for, so again, what would I wait for now, right? You can almost see it. I'd wait for a candle that moves higher, something like this, maybe 1, 2 candles. I'd partial around this point here, somewhere up here on a close, and then I'd let the rest run with the 10. And if it wants to go, it's gonna go, and if it doesn't, it's gonna fail, and that's gonna be their end of the day. And again, just to go over this, let's just count this as a BE for now, even though it's not. Let's just count it as a BE. Just to go over it, part 2, right, and follow up from yesterday. So yesterday was around 8 RR, and today was 2.85 plus 1.39. Again, this is not stuff I traded, right? This is how I used to trade, but this is how I would apply EVC of my rules to a lower time frame. And that's exactly what my students do and my members do. And this is exactly how they get funded over and over and over again, month after month, year after year, following proper trends and doing it on time frames that make sense to them, right? And here we have about a 17 RR day. Now, again, are you gonna have a 17 RR day every day? No, not at all. This is just simply looking at something that has been proving to deliver well over and over and over again, something that we already know the team is doing very well on and following. And all I did is I wanted to go over the price action myself with my own rules to show you how I would personally go about trading it and then managing my trades. Notice there's not random huge winners that are making up everything. It's just following simple rules that are leading to big gainers. And then there may be the chance that given that this starts to deliver, you take your first partial, and then all of a sudden it might, who knows, overnight move into something like this. And then tomorrow you might get out here at around, 11 RR. That's exactly how some of my trades go. That's exactly how, as I showed you guys in the last video, that's exactly how my higher time frame Bitcoin trade went. All right, I took it, I partialed into it around this point here, and then all of a sudden it blew up into a crazy move and I got out of the rest of it here for about a 23 RR gain. That's what markets tend to do. That's how trends tend to deliver. And all of this was based on something that we started following from back here. All of which created beautiful opportunities over and over and over again across the EVC that you would personally use based on the timeframes that you want to trade. And that's exactly what I try to give my team. And part of the members portal, the stuff that I'm teaching now, right, is literally to do with building a system around the times that you can trade, the setups that you can trade, the amount of time you actually want to spend, basically building out a system that actually is tailored to the individual, because that's the only way you become profitable, okay? Beautiful. I'll see you all in the next video.